started digging into the Mark II's under the hood, and I decided to pull the radiator because I found something nasty at the bottom. Check this out. So when I was at the bottom, I noticed something, that right at the bottom of the radiator is the only place that was rusted. And I was like, man, the rest of the car is super solid, but why is it rust right there? I found out why. Check this out. There's a huge bevy of holes at the bottom of the radiator, like as if it burned its way through. Can you see it? God damn. Looks like it's time for a new radiator. This guy's getting jumped. So dude, underneath the Mark II, this is something that I noticed when I pulled that radiator. So under the car right now, as you can kind of see, there is very little rust, almost none, especially in the places that are real notorious on these Mark IIs. Right here is one of the most notorious spots, right here, right? On the other side too, kind of see, right? Those locations are real big no-nos, really bad as far as rust goes. And them spots are just fine. In the back of the wheel wells, they're fine, you know. Other than the fact that I got quite a bit of spider webs, it's actually pretty darn solid. Now, that's when I found over here at the front, I found here at the front this. I said, why is that so rusty right there? Towards the front, and especially around here. I saw why. When I pulled that radiator, actually when I got underneath it, I saw huge holes blown at the bottom, and it must have sprayed coolant all underneath it. Look, you can even see that the front of the oil pan has a significant amount of rust, and the sway bar. Look at that. So I'm gonna fix that. Good thing I know how to fix rust. But it's really minimal, so I don't have to work so hard. I don't have to work too bad, but that's annoying, right? Right there. So instead of just changing out the radiator, I gotta do that too. Well, you know I'll fix that. Check it in a second. Looks like I cannot find any stock radiators for these Mark II Supras. I don't know what it is. They just don't got the parts that I was hoping that they would. So I did find a new radiator, but this radiator is a fabricated one. It is a aluminum radiator, so it should do the job, cooling it down fair enough. I was just actually hoping to get like a stock one. I just like stock because this thing has so much stock stuff on it. I went, let me keep it all stock. Nope, that wasn't gonna happen. But it's actually better I picked this one up, because I actually was going to kind of wild out a little bit doing my black cloud approach. Come to find out that a 350 small block radiator works exactly the same size, exactly the same orientation, and what do you call it? The only thing that stopped it was because I was trying to be stock as possible. But I said, well, that's not totally what stopped it. What stopped it was actually the intake, and the out is a little bit oversized than the normal radiator hose sizes, and I didn't like that. So, well, this is what we're doing. We're just gonna go with something fabricated. All right, so here we go. In a brown box, straight from eBay. It's funny how sometimes, like in a brown box, it pretty much is the only answer you got. And check this one out. silver aluminum radiator. Little 2-core with all the regular stuff that a radiator would need, and you know, it being aluminum, it's gonna cool it, and we'll try it out and see how I feel about it. But we're covered. Fits. Yeah, oh yes. I'm back. I got a crazy idea again. Y'all know me, I got cockamamie ideas. For this guy right here, I was looking around at this random piece of roadkill I had found, and it was a bottom side of a bumper. This guy right here. Yeah. Now, I have no idea what it's from. No idea. And I noticed that its shape, it's kind of a squared, rounded square, rectangle shape that kind of looks a lot like that guy right there. Now, what did I see in that? I saw that it gives a little bit of a chin spoiler vibe. What you think? So maybe I'm gonna try to see if I can modify this and make it into a chin spoiler. Right, Oni-san? Hey, what's going on? Now, I think to do that, I've already kind of test fitted it, and it needs to be narrowed a bit. So the front of the Supra, the Mark II Supra, the front is a little bit narrower than that piece right there. So what I got to do is I got to do a bit of plastic welding, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to narrow it. But first, I'm going to fix all the little. There's a couple little cracks and indentations on there, and then also I'm going to add some provisions on it for mounting, for bolting. So I'm going to cut off some extra pieces on there and see if I can actually add it to the top part, because it's not like this top piece, and if you look closely, there's a couple little tabs for something to be mounted, but it's not like it has provisions on it to be mounted anyways, because it's not what it's for. It's not what it's for. I think it actually was probably the lower part of a bumper, because it's got this little, I don't know, this little divot or something right here. And you can kind of see it, right? And that divot kind of looks like a place where an exhaust, likely is a place where the exhaust exited out the back of the bumper. But I kind of like how it looks. I might make it a little spot where a little tow hook can pop out, like that, you know? So I'm gonna get to cutting, and y'all check it in a second. Normally what I like to do when I plastic weld, I like to use a standard plastic welder, and Of course, the things a lot of times we use is the little simple spatula, and of course these staples. It might be a little hard to see, but you might be able to see it. Yeah, so these plastic welding tools is something that I noticed that a lot of people don't use, and I feel like maybe in the tuner community they should really get acquainted with, since they hold such high regard for TIG welding, and maybe even MIG welding every now and again, but mostly TIG welding. I really feel like they should be more acquainted with the plastic welder, mainly because most of the time they're working on 90s cars, and 90s cars are filled with plastic bits. Every single part of the car is plastic, damn near. Plus they destroy bumpers all the time, so I really feel instead of getting really, really good at TIG welding like you always talk about, you probably should get really good at plastic welding and fiberglassing, because most of your cars are made out of that, not shots fired. And for this, even though it's just kind of like, I'm gonna just try and see if I can make this chin spoiler, make this into a chin spoiler, it makes a lot of sense to just at least have the skill to be able to stitch something like this together with something as simple as and inexpensive as a plastic welder. I think one of the hardest things to understand about a plastic welder is it's very, very similar to basic welding. One thing is that you're not just taking the plastic welder and using the spatula and just burning things across, and yes, some of that is like that, but really it's very similar to TIG welding in the sense of, okay, let's just imagine that this is the torch. You actually need to have some pieces of plastic that you basically heat up and put in the area that's already heated up by the plastic welder. So, for example, what I normally do right down here is I'll take the plastic welder and I'll warm the area up, right? Let's just say right here until it gets pretty warm. You start to see smoke happening. Then I take this little piece of extra bumper that I cut off of it and I hang it down in there and heat up the corner of that, and then work the pieces down into the area that I heated up. Now, you can pretty much see the smoke pushing it all up, but as you heat up the area, which you have to heat up the area first, then you actually push the plastic down into it, like so. As it gets pushed down into it, like so, it gets moved around and replaced and filled, essentially. Now I'm doing this one-handed, but you'd normally do it too. So that's normally like how the plastic welder heats up the area and puts the extra plastic down into the crevice. It's essentially the same thing as TIG welding. It's really, really similar. All it is that you heat the area up, then you just complete the circuit, and you drop plastic in there. And once you drop plastic in there, it's pretty much going to be filled in the same way. So as these two pieces I put back together with the area that I cut out, I basically just took the area that I cut out, the same bumper material, I fill in the space and connect the whole thing. And you know, I put a few of those staples in there. I'm still gonna put a few more, but I put the few staples in so that it can ensure that I actually have like a almost like an internal rebar from the plastic welder. So yeah, guys, come on, man, stop playing. Go get one. Go get one. And you know, shit, I know you got a bunch of broken bumpers on the back of your house, or even in the back of an old project you didn't finish. Put it in there. And, you know, just give it a shot, because really you ain't got nothing to lose, right? It's just pissing off your grandma right there in the back. Like, get that out of the damn back of the house!